All right, so get ready because we are diving deep
Hmm.
into chapter 16 of Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah, this is a big one.
This is where things get really, really dark for the creature.
This is where it all changes for him. His hope for acceptance, just goes away completely.
Yeah.
And his desire for revenge against Victor, his creator, that's where that really starts to come out.
Yeah, he's reeling from being abandoned
Yeah.
by Victor, and the language that Shelley uses is so vivid.
It really is.
He compares himself to like a wild beast breaking free, wanting to just wreak havoc.
It's powerful imagery.
It's so
It
powerful.
really drives home, that feeling of like just pure rage.
Yes, and it's raw.
Yeah,
It's pure rage, and you can't help but feel for him,
I know it is.
even though his thoughts are terrifying.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like his pain is so intense
right.
that it's manifesting as this urge to destroy.
Yeah, you really see that internal struggle in him, don't you?
Yeah.
That yearning for connection, but it's battling against this burning rage.
Yes, and what makes it even more tragic is that he does
Oh, yeah.
show this capacity for good.
He does.
He finds a glimmer of hope with the DeLacy family.
Yeah.
And he comes up with this plan to befriend them,
Uh-huh.
thinking that if he can just, slowly reveal himself to them, they'll come
Wow.
to accept him.
It's kind of heartbreaking when you think about it, right?
It is.
He's so naive.
Yes.
He really thinks that kindness is going to win them over.
Yes. And of course it backfires.
It does. And that terrified reaction when they see him,
Yeah.
devastating.
Devastating.
Right.
And this fuels his resentment toward humanity.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the turning point of the chapter.
Yeah.
Maybe even the entire story.
Possibly.
When he declares war on humanity,
Uh-huh.
and Victor specifically is public enemy number one.
He even says, I will glut the maw of death until it be satiated with the blood of your remaining friends.
Oh, it's chilling.
It is chilling. And it's not just like a childish outburst or anything, but this signifies like a major shift for him psychologically.
Yes.
He's not just lashing out. He is making a very conscious decision to seek revenge.
Yes.
And I think what's really interesting is that Shelley doesn't just tell us this.
Right.
She shows us through his language.
Yeah.
The creature's language becomes
Yes.
much more sophisticated, much darker.
It does.
And that really highlights this transformation in him.
Yeah. And that sets him on this journey to Geneva,
Yeah,
filled with hardship, obviously,
right.
driven by this hatred and this desire to confront Victor.
Yeah, and it's on this journey that he has this encounter with the little girl
Yes.
that really shows, just the irony of his situation.
The irony of his situation.
You're talking about the scene by the river where
Yeah.
he saves her from drowning, right?
Yes.
He risks his own life to help her.
Yes.
And what happens?
Fear and violence?
Fear and violence. He
Yeah.
gets shot by her companion.
Yes. It's like a confirmation of everything
I know.
he's come to believe about himself.
Yep.
And humanity. It's like
Right.
this crushing realization for him.
It is, and it leads to that line, one of the most chilling lines in the whole book.
What's that?
Inflamed by pain, I vowed eternal hatred and vengeance to all mankind.
It's like he's slamming the door
Yeah.
on any possibility of, finding love and connection.
He's given up completely on humanity.
Yes. And Shelley does not hold back
No.
on the brutality
Yeah.
of his emotions.
It's raw.
He describes his desire for revenge as a deep and deadly revenge.
Yeah.
The only thing that can compensate for his agony.
Yeah. And all that agony finds an outlet
It does.
in the murder of William.
Yes. Such a complex scene because even in this horrible violence,
Yeah.
you can see the desperation and the longing in him.
It's like for a moment, he sees in William this possibility of companionship.
Yes.
Someone who's innocent, hasn't been tainted by the world yet.
Yes. And of course,
Animal.
William recoils in fear.
Of course he does. I mean, anyone would.
And that's the trigger.
Yeah. That's the trigger for him.
His fragile hope
Yeah.
just shatters
Completely.
and he lashes out.
It's a tragedy on so many levels for William, for his family,
Oh, yes.
but also for the creature herself,
Yes.
He's trapped in this cycle of pain and revenge.
And he can't break free
He can't break free.
from it.
And what's even more disturbing, I think, is that he knows how much pain he's causing.
Yes.
He doesn't just kill William, he takes pleasure in it
Yes.
because he knows how much it will destroy Victor.
Yes.
He says this death will carry despair to him, and 1,000 other miseries shall torment and destroy him.
So different from the creature we saw at the beginning
I know,
of
right?
the story, yearning for love and acceptance.
It's chilling to see how much he's changed.
Yes.
You know, it really is a stark reminder of how suffering can change someone
Yes.
and really warp even the best of intentions.
Yes, twisting a heart toward darkness.
And then he decides to frame Justine for William's murder.
This isn't just a crime of passion.
No, not at all.
This is a calculated move.
It's strategic. He's showing us just how much he's learned
Yes.
about human nature, you know,
And how to exploit it.
and how to manipulate people. He's playing a game now,
Yes, he is.
and the stakes are incredibly high.
So high.
It's fascinating to see this shift in him, right?
Yes.
From that impulsive rage to this, you know, really strategic manipulation.
Yes, he's orchestrating Victor's downfall.
He is.
Using his knowledge?
He's using everything he's learned against Victor.
Yes. But even as he descends into this, like, abyss of darkness,
Uh-huh.
Shelley gives us a glimpse of something else.
What's that?
A strange fascination with beauty.
Oh, yeah.
He's captivated by the portrait of Caroline Frankenstein,
He is, isn't he?
Victor's mother.
Yeah.
And for a moment, he forgets his rage and his pain.
Just looking at this image.
It's such a complex
I know.
and paradoxical moment.
It really reveals, you know, the duality of his nature.
Yeah.
He's capable of this profound cruelty,
Yes.
but he still yearns for something more.
Yes. Beauty-love connection.
Things that are just out of his reach.
It's this internal struggle.
It is.
This push and pull between darkness and light.
It's what makes him such a compelling character.
That makes him so fascinating.
And so tragic.
Tragic, chapter 16. It's essential
Absolutely.
to understanding the creature's journey
It really is.
and the themes of Frankenstein.
Definitely.
It's a chilling exploration
It is.
of how isolation and prejudice can twist even the most well-intentioned heart.
Yeah, and it forces us to ask that question, you know.
Yes. What
Yeah.
makes a monster?
Is it something we're born with, or is it something that's created in us by the way we're treated?
Big question.
Huge question.
We're going to take a quick break.
Sounds good. It's amazing how Shelley, you know, uses the creature's journey to mirror his internal state.
Yeah, like as he travels towards Geneva.
Right, mostly at night, hiding from everybody.
Yes, hiding from the judgmental eyes of humanity.
And you see the seasons change, too.
Yes, from like vibrant summer, the harshness of winter.
It's like nature itself is reflecting what's happening inside of him.
Yes. He even describes the sun as heatless,
Yeah.
with rain and snow just pouring unceasingly.
Yeah, but there's this one little glimmer,
Yes.
like a brief moment, where the warmth of spring kind of comes back.
Yes.
And he experiences feelings of gentleness and pleasure.
It's like a fleeting reminder of who he could have been.
Right, exactly. If he hadn't been met with constant fear and rejection.
And this little moment, it sets the stage for that scene with the girl.
Oh, yeah, by the river?
Yes.
Mm.
This is a powerful scene
Powerful scene.
because it just confirms everything he's come to believe.
About himself and humanity?
Yes, he saves this girl from drowning,
Right.
risking his own life. And how is he rewarded?
With terror and violence.
Terror and violence, her companion just shoots him,
Just like that.
solidifying in his mind that he is destined to be an outcast.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
It's like he's beyond redemption.
And it leads to that line, inflamed by pain.
Yes.
I vowed eternal hatred and vengeance to all mankind.
Oh my goodness.
Chilling.
So
I
chilling.
really...
And he's given up on humanity completely at this point.
He has, and Shelley doesn't shy away from, you know, the brutality of his emotions.
No, she doesn't. He describes his desire for revenge.
As deep and deadly.
Yes, the only thing that can compensate for his agony.
And that agony,
Yeah.
it finds an outlet in the murder of William.
Yes. This is a complex scene, too.
It is, because even in this act of, you know, horrific violence,
Yes.
you see like this element of desperation and longing in him.
He sees William for just a brief second as a potential companion.
Someone who's innocent, you know, untainted by the world.
And of course, William reacts like everyone else.
Recoils in fear.
And that's the trigger.
That's all it takes.
His fragile hope just shatters.
And the consequences are devastating.
It's a tragedy on so many levels.
It really is for William, for his family, but for the creature too.
Yeah.
Because he's trapped in this cycle
He is.
of pain and revenge. He can't break free.
And what's even more disturbing is that he's aware of the pain he's causing.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't just kill William.
Right.
He takes pleasure in knowing how much it will destroy Victor.
He says this death will carry despair to him.
Yes.
And 1,000 other miseries shall torment and destroy him.
So cold.
It's cold, and it's so different from the creature we saw,
Yes, at the beginning of
the
that.
beginning of the story.
Yearning for love and acceptance.
It's a chilling reminder of how suffering can change a person.
Yes, and his cruelty takes this calculated turn
It does.
when he decides to frame Justine.
For the murder.
Yes, this isn't just a crime of passion.
Yeah.
This is strategic.
He's showing us how much he's learned about human nature and how to exploit it.
Yeah, it's like he's playing a game.
He is. He's playing a game, and he's playing for keeps.
And it's fascinating, this shift
I know it is, right?
from that impulsive rage to this really strategic manipulation.
He's not a mindless monster,
No.
He's thinking, he's planning.
Orchestrating Victor's downfall.
Exactly. Using all his knowledge against him.
It's like he's become the monster that society has always perceived him to be.
And yet, even as he descends into this darkness, Shelley gives us a glimpse of something else.
Right, this fascination with beauty.
The portrait of Caroline Frankenstein.
Yes.
It's like he forgets his rage for a moment.
Yeah, captivated by her image.
It's complex.
So complex.
Such a paradoxical moment.
It reveals this duality in his nature.
He's capable of this profound cruelty,
Yeah.
but he still yearns for something more.
Beauty-love connection.
But it's all just out of reach for him.
It's this internal struggle.
It is this push and pull between darkness and light.
It makes him such a compelling figure.
And such a tragic one.
Absolutely. Chapter 16, it's essential to understanding
Oh, yeah.
the creature's journey
A whole story.
and the themes of Frankenstein.
For sure.
It's a chilling exploration
It is.
of how isolation and prejudice can twist even the most well-intentioned heart.
It makes you wonder,
It makes a monster.
is it nature or nurture?
Is it something we're born with?
Or something that's created in us by the way we're treated?
Huge questions.
Huge questions. And as we move into the final part of our deep dive,
Yes.
keep that question in mind. How will Victor respond to the creature he's unleashed upon the world?
Because what happens next?
It's a direct result of the choices he's made.
Yes. And the consequences he must now face.
So at the end of chapter 16, the creature, he makes a demand,
Yeah.
a requisition, as he calls it.
It's not just about revenge anymore.
No, he wants something more.
He wants something deeper.
Something deeper, yeah. And he gives Victor an ultimatum.
He lays down the law, and what he asks for is fascinating,
It really is.
but also terrifying.
He wants Victor to create another creature.
Another creature.
A female companion.
A female companion.
Someone who can understand his pain, his isolation.
Someone who won't recoil in horror at the sight of him.
Someone who sees him for who he is.
It's a desperate plea for connection.
It is a plea for someone to share the burden of his existence.
Yeah. And you can empathize with that loneliness.
Yeah.
That longing to be understood.
Absolutely. But it raises some serious ethical questions.
Yeah, the thought of Victor creating another being like him.
Right.
Unleashing more chaos and suffering on the world.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
It's a tough one. And that's what makes Shelley's writing so brilliant.
It really is.
She doesn't give us easy answers.
No.
She makes us confront these really uncomfortable questions.
About scientific ambition.
Yes, the very nature of humanity.
And the creature argues, I was benevolent
Yeah.
until the world turned me into a monster.
Right. And he promises, if you grant my request,
Will vanish
we'll disappear.
into the wilderness, never to bother humanity again.
But can Victor trust him?
That's the question.
Can he risk these creatures reproducing?
Right, creating a whole race of beings who might resent humanity.
What would that mean for the world?
It's a huge risk.
These are questions that have resonated with readers for centuries.
I mean, they tap into our deepest fears.
But what it means to be human,
The responsibility of creation.
the consequences of our actions.
And the chapter ends on a cliffhanger.
It does.
We don't know how Victor's going to respond.
Will he give in?
Will he try to atone for his past mistakes?
Or will he refuse, knowing the potential dangers?
It's a tough choice.
It leaves us on the edge of our seats.
It does.
But beyond the plot,
Right.
this chapter offers such a profound exploration.
Of human nature.
We see the creature's transformation
From this naive, hopeful being,
to a vengeful, calculating.
but still sympathetic figure,
And we see Victor, this brilliant but flawed creator.
having to face the consequences of his actions.
It's a chapter that really stays with you.
It does.
It makes you think about good and evil,
Empathy.
the responsibility we have to each other.
It's a reminder that our choices have consequences
They do. Our actions can ripple outwards.
and create unforeseen outcomes.
And ultimately, it asks us to consider what it means to be human,
In our capacity for love and compassion.
but also our potential for darkness and destruction.
That's the duality of humanity.
What do you think is the creature justified in his demands?
It's a tough question.
Could Victor have prevented this tragedy?
And what would you do if you were in Victor's shoes?
Keep those questions in mind as you continue reading Frankenstein.
And let us know your thoughts.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time.